This is LaShonda and Baby, and this is it's an early video, but it's not my 18-week update that I said I was going to do after my anatomy scan on Thursday. This is a update from my hospital visit. If those of you who are my Facebook friends, you basically know I was in the emergency room and and everything. So for everybody that's not on my Facebook, I'm going to explain the scare that I had and what happened. Uh, well, um, well, it was Friday night. Um, you might as well say, hold on, yesterday. No, Saturday. It was Saturday night. Um, Me and my boyfriend, we had sex. It wasn't rough or nothing like that. Just, well, TMI. Yeah, we had sex or made love or however you want to put it, but it was sex. Afterwards, went to sleep. So hours later, I went to get up to go use the bathroom. And this is also TMI. I went to use the bathroom, and when I wiped, uh, I always check, um, even though I'm hearing some noises in my window, and I'm a big scaredy cat, so I'm paying attention to it just in case. But it could be just either raindrops hitting the window or whatever. So like I said, I still check myself when I wipe sometimes, and I felt a little extra wet. So I was like, well, let me check just to see what's going on. Because I know I'm used to the extra discharge that you get in your second trimester that starts, I think, around 13 or 14 weeks. I'm thinking, I'm not sure. I don't have my thing in my app in front of me about pregnancy, and I forgot to get my phone because I took pictures of some stuff. So anyway, when I wiped and I checked, I had blood, and I was like, first thing I said was, "Oh no!" So I was like, maybe it's a fluke or something. I wiped again, and this time I wiped closer to my TMI vaginal opening, and I had it was a small but a decent sized blood clot. So when I seen that, I started freaking out. It's crazy that I didn't freak out when I seen the blood. I said, oh no. But when I seen the blood clot, I started freaking out. It was like a sense of doom came over me. I just knew it was over. So I went in the living room, tried to get my thoughts together. I was like, okay, because there was no, usually when you're bleeding, and you use the restroom, you have blood in the toilet. That's usual. I checked the toilet, wasn't no blood in the toilet, but it was definitely blood when I wiped. And then I had the blood clot as well. So, I went in the living room to gather my thoughts, try to calm down, and I took my Doppler. Excuse me, I have heartburn. I took my Doppler and I tried to frantically look for the heartbeat of the baby. And when I found it, it was so faint. But at the same time, my Doppler was starting to die, and I had to recharge it. So I was like, okay, I got to put it on the charger. So I put it on the charger, and I went back to the bathroom. About 10-15 minutes later, checked again. I wiped close to my vaginal opening, TMI, and I was still getting blood. So I went back into the living room and tried to find the baby's heartbeat again, frantically, and I couldn't find the baby's heartbeat. So panic full mode started, and I woke my boyfriend up and I was like, I need to go to the hospital. And he was like, why? I said, I'm bleeding. And he was like, what does that mean? I said, I don't know, I'm just scared. So by the time I woke him up, I had already called a cab. If any of y'all follow me, I can't drive. I I'm legally blind, and my vision is very bad. And I had a corneal transplant in my right eye, and I need one in my left eye. So my vision is very bad. So I called the cab, and we don't have a car right now anyway. And the cab said we'll be out in 3 minutes. So I tried to wake him up. I said, "Are you gonna come?" And he was like, I think I asked him um, if he wanted to come, but he was just too much out of it and asleep. He didn't wake up, so I wasn't really um, worried about it. I'm not one of the ones, but oh, I'm your girl. You gotta come. No, I know it'd been nice to have a support there because it is his child, especially if it was serious, which it was serious. But at the same time, I it's just me. I was just ready to get to the hospital. I wasn't trying to wait. So I got to the hospital and I checked in at the where you normally check in. I guess it's not triage, but where you gonna tell the people you need to be seen. So I went up to the front desk and I told her I need to be seen. She was like, "Why?" I told her I was 18 weeks pregnant and I was bleeding, and she had to go in the back talk to the nurses. But I already know that anything over 16 weeks, you have to go upstairs, labor and delivery. So what she did was she called labor and delivery, and she told them I was 18 weeks pregnant. They asked for my due date, and when she was asking me these questions, you could just see the tears. The tears just started swelling up in my eyes, and she asked me who my doctor was, and I couldn't even answer her because I was about to break down literally in front of her, and I tried my hardest not to, even though I dropped a couple tears, and I was finally able to answer her who my obstetrician was, my OB was. So she said, labor and delivery said go upstairs with them. Got lost. I went into the wrong elevator, and I kept seeing the labor and delivery ward is on the 5th floor. So I only seen the button to go up to the 3rd floor. So I was like, okay, where am I at? And just so happened, I was coming out and I was looking around, and somebody from the hospital was like, "Do you need help? Do you need the directory?" I said, "I'm looking for the elevator takes you to the 5th floor." And he showed me. So I was happy about that. I made it to the 5th floor, signed in. They had to take my ID and insurance card. It was really weird. So they asked me, was I bleeding enough to fill a pad? I said no. They asked me what happened. I said, well, when I went to the bathroom and I checked myself, I was bleeding. I did pass a small blood clot. She asked if I was in pain. I said I was feeling uncomfortable in my pelvic area. So she had the lady, when she took my information, she had one of the nurses take me back. And of course, I went back. They dipped my urine. My urine came back with blood, of course, because I was bleeding, and ketones and protein. Proteins because my blood pressure was high. Ketones could be one of two reasons. Because I'm barely eating and I have been sick a lot. My body could be in starvation mode where it's breaking down its own fats and it's not using carbohydrates and sugars like it's supposed to, because I don't have enough sufficient in my body. Because I already know I can pretty much say my sugar shouldn't be out of control because it really shouldn't be, but I haven't checked it in so long that that's one of the things I need to start back doing, which I know I said last video, but I really am going to start back doing it. And my blood pressure when I got there was 200 over 130. I told her, I said, my blood pressure is going to be pretty high because I'm really scared. They put the little monitors on my belly. They put the one on there for the heartbeat. And she says she told me that under 22 or 24 weeks, they only need to get like about a minute or two of baby's heartbeat. And there we go with this. So baby's heartbeat was hard to find. When she finally found it, it was really faint. It was so faint it wasn't even picking up on the monitor, even though she could hear it. So she called another nurse. She came in, and they kept trying and trying, and they finally found my little one, who apparently didn't like the machine, because every time they found the baby would kick constantly on the monitor and move. Like they'll find the heartbeat, baby will kick, move a different side. And she was like, your baby is very active. And she's like, do you feel it? I said, yes, I feel it. And they was like, the heart rate was 160, or in the 160s. So she was like, well, the baby's heartbeat's in the 160s. Your baby is very active. She was like, you could calm, try to calm down. And I know they were so nice, and they were trying to calm me down. 'Cause my blood pressure was dangerously high, and I understand that it's their job to try to calm me down. But after having, so many losses, and then to know, as far along as I am, it won't be just a miscarriage. I will actually have to give birth to the baby. That was going through my mind. So anyway, they put me on the TOCO, I think is what it's called, to check for contractions. I did take a picture on my phone of my printouts where I had contractions, and it is called uterine irritation, I think. That also shows up on the machine. And because it was just a little discomfort. It wasn't nothing that I would say was downright painful. I just really thought it was just discomfort, but it turns out it was small contractions that I was having. So they phoned my obstetrician, and she said because of the small contractions and the bleeding, she wanted me to get an ultrasound to check for to check cervical length, to make sure my cervix wasn't shortened. So I had that done, and it was an internal exam, and I did not know that it was an internal. But the lady was very nice, and she was like, your baby is really beating up your cervix. I couldn't see the screen, and I tried not to because I was worried. And she said that my baby's heart rate was 160. So she was like, oh, he or she is really beating up your cervix because they're really kicking you. I said, I feel it. I feel the kicks. I don't know where it's kicking at. And I was like, yeah. I said, I don't know. She was like, you don't know? I said, no. She's like, do you want to know? I said, yes. So I cleaned up, and I came back into the room. I thought she had already took the shot, the baby, and she knew what the sex was, but she didn't. She was like, all right, hop up on here. She was like, not getting in trouble for doing it. She said, I won't tell if you won't tell. I said, well, I'm asleep. I don't even know what's happening. She said, that's good. So she started the exam, and she turned the screen around, and my little baby is so big, and they were just kicking away. It was just so sweet to see. You can see the whole leg. Like the whole leg. They were just kicking around. And it was just so relieving to see them, or to see the baby. I keep saying them because I don't like calling baby it. I was so relieved to see the baby. And they were just so active and kicking and flipping and everything. I was just so amazed. I said I could feel all that. No wonder why I feel these little movements and thumps. They're in there kicking away. My baby's very active early in the morning, usually because I'm up this late. So she said she gave me my guess, and she told me to double check my anatomy scan on Thursday. So I'm not revealing anything until Thursday. Sorry, ladies. So then after that was done, I took a peek at the ultrasound, and it said my cervix length was 3.4. They said doctors don't start to worry and not unless your cervical length is under, I think it's 2.5. So I guess it was considered normal. But when my OB came in, she came in about 5:30, and she had to do this speculum exam. Oh my God, that was so painful. It was so uncomfortable and so painful, and I was still bleeding. I was bleeding because the bleeding had stopped, or what I seen was just brown. But in the inside, when she was in there, she, I guess, took a big gauze and folded up and wiped my cervix, and it was still blood. It was still, I guess, bleeding. So I was still bleeding from the inside, but it wasn't coming out. I guess because it was starting to. I don't know how to explain it, but I just didn't see it. But it was inside. TMI. So then she checked my cervix. She said my cervix is closed. She said it's closed pretty tightly. She said that my cervical lymph is good. She put me on pelvic rest and bed rest. No more sex until 32 weeks is when she'll consider it safe to start having sex again. And she wants me to get my thyroid checked, and she wants me to, well, I go back to see her. Well, I go back for my appointment on the 7th. So basically, she said if I have any more bleeding, to come into the office to see her and, not go into the emergency room. So I was like, okay. I felt kind of bad because I pulled her out of her bed at 5 in the morning, but she was very, very sweet. She came out. I know it's her job, but I just felt bad. But I felt reassured when she came out to examine me herself. And she was like, because of your history, she said, when the chance left, she said nothing. Not to 32 weeks, she said, when you look at your father, she said, you're at a good, you're doing good, but we need to keep you progressing. And she was just so sweet and so nice, and I told her thank you. I'm so glad that I picked her to go with. She asked me when I see my, I think it's perinatologist. I think that's how you say it. And I don't go to them until the 27th. That's when I see them. So I was like, my appointment's Thursday. She's like, okay. But other than that, everything was everything. She told me my bleeding should stop in 2 days. But it's now exactly 24 hours from when I found out I was bleeding, and my bleeding has stopped. There's no more pink, no more brown. There's nothing there. So I am happy to say that. As far as the uterine contractions, she pretty much said that the sex and activity and sometimes the semen can cause the uterus to contract. I didn't know this, and she was like, that's why you was having what you was having, and my uterus was pretty irritated. So that's why she said nothing else until 32 weeks. And that was basically it. I came home about 6 something, and felt really relieved. I now know I can't put a lot into my Doppler, and I will not know more, because I thought, everybody knew what I thought. I thought I was losing the baby, and I thought my baby was no longer alive. So that's what I wanted to come on and tell y'all about. If this is not my official 18-week video, by the time I make my 18-week video, it'll be 18 weeks and 4 days. I'm 18 weeks and 1 day now, but I had the bleeding scare at 18 weeks exactly. So I'm gonna end this video at 20 minutes, and it's like 9 minutes and 18 seconds. And everybody, put your guesses down on what you think, boy or girl. At the bottom of the video, and like I said, I'll be revealing everything Thursday, and I'm excited that everything is good and baby is fine, and I know that what I need to do and not do, and my blood pressure dropped dramatically once everything was okay. So, alright, ladies, I'll talk to you later. Bye.